What's up, winners? Welcome back to Saving Wealth. So, the government shutdown has ended. Trump signs the bill to reopen the government. I'm going to be sharing my screen a lot here because I want to go over the details with you. And let's see how the markets are reacting. Okay, so this is a finance channel. Just want to talk about the crypto, how it reacts, stock market, how it reacts, how it's reacted historically, where I think it's going to go, and exactly a little bit more detail about what's on this bill. So, actually, let me go ahead and share my screen here completely. One moment. And again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Appreciate the support. All right, let's see here. Let me see if I can turn on my audio on this one because I actually think it's very important that you hear it. Okay, so also share audio, entire screen, this one, also share audio. So let me change this to presentation. All right, I'm still getting this from Rumble, but here it is. So just then, Democrats began screeching at each other on the House floor when members of their own party defected and voted to reopen. Crazy. So let me turn up the volume here and let's go over this and go over the vote. That's insane. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's just crazy. That's crazy. All right. So let's go ahead and pause that here and let's go over a little more over what happened. Okay. The crazy part is that, let's see here. Let me stop sharing my screen and I'll reshare it again. Because the more tabs I close, the faster this stream can go ahead and go. All right. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you're just tuning in here. But the crazy part is that none of this was necessary. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. This time we don't need the audio, but we can go over the details here. All right. So on October 16th, right? So almost 30 days ago, they offered the Democrats the deal that they agreed to just last night. Meaning for almost 4 weeks, there was no need for people to not get paid, people to be stuck at airports, people to miss their flights. There was no need for any of that because the deal that was offered on October 16th is the same deal that was passed yesterday. Hence why you saw a lot of the booing or heard a lot of the booing taking place on the House floor. Let me know what you think about that. I think that's pretty insane. Basically, those 4 weeks didn't accumulate to anything positive for the American people. Okay. And I think that's pretty messed up. So let me go over some stock charts here with you. All right. And then we can go over the official sources afterwards. Okay. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here one more time. And it's crazy how as soon as I start live streaming, everyone starts hitting me up like, that's crazy. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right. So all day stocks, 24/7 market news, actually very reliable source. I do actually go ahead and, interact with a lot of their stuff because it's pretty accurate, non-biased, etc. So the government shutdown is ending. Here's how the markets have typically reacted. Looking back over the past 40 years, the pattern is surprisingly consistent. So based on that, we can see or expect consistent or, expect the pattern to go and continue. So a day later, the S&P 500 is down. A week later, it's down. But 60 days later, 8 out of 10 times, almost 9 out of 10 times, it's in the positive. Similar to the NASDAQ 100, So I do want to reiterate this: short-term noise, historically strong medium-term performance once the government reopens. Okay. So basically, what it's looking like is like for the rest of the year, things are going to be down. So it's a great time to accumulate. However, I know a lot of times people like to sell during this time for tax purposes, for holiday purposes. But to each their own. Personal finance is personal. All right. And then this guy posted a chart, which I think is very, very helpful. May not be easy to read on the screen. So let me actually go over the other one that I wanted to mention. But if you notice, it's pretty 50-50 or a little 60-70% on the NASDAQ side, 50 to 75% positive on the S&P 500 side. And again, we're only talking up to 60 days later. But yeah, this data is consistent with this data, right? 88% of the time within 60 days, 75% of the time within 60 days, right? But the first week, the second week, and the first few days in the first week, it's a 50-50 chance of negative. So personally, yeah, there's a time to accumulate S&P 500 or QQQ. I believe this is the best time to go ahead and do it. Give me a moment here. One moment. All right, we are back. We are back. Thank you for the patience and the support. I live stream from the office, so sometimes I gotta keep the lights low because of that, guys. Thank you for the support and thank you for tuning in. I just want to share this news with you guys. So let me remove that. Okay. Now let me go ahead and you know, let's take a look at the stock market. This time I'll keep I'll keep the same screen up just to make things easier. All right. Let me see if you can see the screen. Entire screen. I don't need to share the audio this time. But we're now seeing this. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so the stock market today, Dow shed 300 points. S&P and Nasdaq fall as tech drops and rotation into other equity sectors gains steam. Stocks traded lower today as mega cap tech stumbles ahead of Nvidia earnings next week. Traders prepare for a wave of economic data now that the U.S. government is reopening. So you got to realize that this government shutdown cost probably almost $2 trillion just in this last month alone. Okay. But we knew based on what the previous data I was sharing that this was going to go ahead and happen. So let's look at the S&P 500 right now. As you can see, just today alone, it's down over 1%. That is crazy. That is crazy. But nothing, again, it goes based on the patterns. So if we take a look at exactly, my favorite S&P 500 ETF, VOO, it presents a great buying opportunity. Okay. So if that's what you're looking for, it's not time to panic. We can see based on patterns 80% of the time. Within 60 days, we're back in the green. And there's been a lot of talk about a bull run in 2026, both in the stock market and in crypto. We'll talk about, and let's take a look at the crypto market at the moment and see how that is. Okay. Let's see here. How's it flat? I'm getting in on it after this live stream. I'm getting more of it. I still now based on 20. Yeah, it's 2025. 100 grand is still a good deal for crypto. I definitely see this potentially hitting 250K 2026. Okay, XRP is also down, which is crazy because well everything's down, but XRP just got a new ETF approved. So in case you want to go and take a look at that, Cardano at 54 cents, Solana at 150. It's a great buy-in for Solana. But the way I'm seeing this is just this is creating more buying opportunities. All right, let me know in the comments what you think. We'll definitely like to know your thoughts. Winners, appreciate you tuning in today. Don't forget to like and subscribe as I'm live streaming from work and taking these risks for you. But I appreciate the support. Stay